All right. And so first off, let me turn it over to Andy and his team from Seed.
We're excited about the invitation to be here. My name is Andy Tennell, and I'm the program coordinator in the Center for Entrepreneurship in the Huntsman School of Business.
I'm Russell Fisher. I'm the associate director for the center.
My name's Jerem. I'm a seed intern.
My name is Meg, and I'm also a seed intern.
So we're going to start out quickly by showing a video to kind of highlight the program. We're going to talk about kind of the nuts and bolts and the details of it.
So our focus here is to help small business owners better develop their businesses.
So the difference between Seed and other internship opportunities is that you get to spend a semester abroad, but at a super low cost. And so you just get to focus on giving back and having an international experience.
And I was looking for a study abroad at Utah State, and I saw the Seed program board with a bunch of different countries. So that's what caught my eye at first. Kind of like humanitarian work where you go and teach people, help them change their lives.
This opportunity is available to any student that wants to go and help people.
I'm here on the Seed internship. So we're basically teaching business classes and helping small businesses to grow.
One of my favorite things has really been connecting with the people. I've learned a lot through my studies at Utah State that although cultures, we have so many differences, we also have so many similarities.
There's been some incredible moments here that have been very impactful and that I'll never forget.
Most impactful thing is just been meeting everyone. They truly are just so inspirational.
I'm also able to put what I've learned into the classroom into real life, and that's been a really cool experience.
I would 1,000% recommend Seed to other interns and students.
So I'm just going to provide some of the details about the program that highlights it kind of in a nutshell what it is. But so we work in the Center for Entrepreneurship, which is housed in the Huntsman School of Business. As was said in this video, this internship is open to students of all majors, which I'll get into. But essentially what our focus is on is career readiness and making the career acceleration for the students and making sure they have something as they're learning in the classroom, a way to apply it. Because we're seeing that's a big trend these days with employers. They want to make sure that people are career ready, the students as they graduate. And so this is an awesome opportunity for students to do that. So essentially what it is, it's a 12-week internship, and students are able to go to one of 5 different countries. At the moment, we're in Ghana, Mexico, Philippines, Peru, Dominican Republic, and what did I not say? Mexico. So our English-speaking countries are the Philippines and Ghana, and then our Latin American countries, obviously Spanish-speaking. And so it's a 12-week program. The students are able to go there. It's every single semester. The cool thing about this for us is that we've had over 50 students, over 50 different majors that have participated in the program. And so if a student applies, it's a non-business student, they're treated the exact same as a business student if they're accepted into the program. And so 12 weeks, the cost associated with this is highly subsidized by the business school. And so business student, non-business student treated the same. Depending on the location where they go, they're either given a $1,500 stipend to $2,200 to help cover their travel to and from their country where they're assigned. And then the housing is covered by the Huntsman School as well. And so out of pocket, on average, it's pretty equitable. The students that go on this program spend $1,500 out of their own pocket for that experience, right? So it's life-changing. It's not only our focus, obviously, is on the students and the impact that they have, but it's really neat because they're able to use their education to empower people to build businesses. And so my first interaction with the program 10 years ago, I was able to go to Peru. And I remember we interviewed a woman. The program's been around for over 15 years. And we interviewed a woman that had taken, who was in poverty in Peru. And she had aspirations just like all of us do, and dreams of like sending her kids to school. And so we interviewed her about the impact that students had had. And so she started an internet cafe as a business. She'd essentially use the computers in her home to rent it out to people in the community that didn't have computers to come. She had people to game and then print things off. And so she was able to turn that business into something that impacted her family for generations to come. After the interview, she said, I want to show you something. This is the impact your students had. And I walked to another part of the room, or her home, and she just pointed up. And I was confused, and I looked up and I was like, what do you mean by that? She said, there was no ceiling on this part of my house before I met your students. And she was like, we launched the business, we covered this part of our house, and we walked to another room. And she showed me pictures of her daughters who had gone to college and graduated. She was like, that wouldn't have been possible had we not been empowered, you know, I think apart from that, just believed in by somebody to mentor us through the process. And so really neat opportunity for students. We partner with different organizations in each of the countries we're in. And so there is oversight from our end here at Utah State, but we partner with other entities, organizations doing the same thing. So these are a few of them. Our main partner organization is Mentors International, based out of Utah, but they have a presence. They hire people from the countries that our students are in, and those individuals are working in the communities, and they help provide group classes for our students to teach. as well as one-on-one mentoring for people that are building businesses. And this is like the annual impact. So every single semester, as I mentioned, is when the students are going out, spring, summer, and fall. So more than 75 students go on SEED every single year. And this is the impact of service provided, over 48,000 hours and over 3,000 individuals mentored and taught. And then I'm going to just go ahead and invite Meg and Jerem to hear it straight from them, their experience of being in Cape Coast, Ghana.
So yeah, I was able to go to Cape Coast, Ghana this last summer following my freshman year. And as a business student, I found that to be really beneficial for me because we're teaching a lot of the basic business principles to these entrepreneurs. And by teaching things like record keeping, finance, accounting, I've been able to take these finance and accounting classes and these data classes and really see why that's important. And I've noticed that's helped me with my learning experience. Not only with SEED, by doing it, it's helped accelerate my career. I've been able to land an internship where majority of my interview was talking about how much project-based work we're doing, working with a team, really getting your hands dirty for an entire summer. That was really a big impact and has helped me launch my career now. So I have an internship this upcoming summer. So SEED has impacted me, I would say, for probably my entire life.
My name's Jerem. I was also in Cape Coast, Ghana this last summer. It was the summer after my junior year in college, so I joined the program a little later than you might expect. I just want to say perhaps one of the greatest values of my higher educational experience has been work outside of the classroom. And this internship encapsulates that perfectly. I am a senior now and I'm looking to graduate. I've done 4 job interviews in the last semester, and I've been offered 3 of those jobs. And every single one of those job interviews, they asked me about my experience with SEED, because it's one of the first things I put on my resume. They loved it. It stood out to them. It demonstrates real world experience, real world knowledge. It demonstrates that I genuinely wanted to give back and help people, and I can put the knowledge to work. I can say the career that I have chosen, the career that I've selected right now, this has been the most helpful thing for me. Helping other people, learning to give back, learning to manage other people's finances is exactly where I'm headed. And the SEED internship has offered more value to me than probably anything else that I have done in my college career. So as you guys are looking to, talk to people about different opportunities, this has been by far the greatest value for me in my higher educational experience.
So just to put the things together, we in the Center for Entrepreneurship, it's an organization that is intended to service the entire campus community. Most of our students that are involved with it are non-business students, and it's about getting real work experience, whether they're starting their own business or helping others right away, and so that they can be better contributors to jobs that they may take or to the economy and to society. If you are interested in working with our students or having your students work through this in the SEED program, there's a deadline coming up on April 20th, and that's for spring of next year. And we'll do interviews soon after that. But this is an incredible program. We can list dozens of examples of people who've landed great jobs in high-end organizations, international organizations, and even started incredible businesses and that were launched through this program. So we're here to support the entire campus community, and are we doing questions or anything? Okay, and we can take any questions that you have.
Yeah.
You mentioned it was open up to anyone, not just folks what are in school. How do you select which students take part in this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that one of the key components of this is like we have capacity in every location for like 4 students, and we're looking at individual characteristics and skill sets, but we're also looking at diversity. We're trying to form consulting teams, and so when you partner up somebody that knows how to do marketing, and accounting, and graphic design, and different majors with different perspectives, it helps these individuals out that they're mentoring even more. And so one important part to mention is that nothing's barring anybody from applying right now. Once selected into the program, there are some prerequisites they have to take care of before going out to their assigned location. But as Russell mentioned, April 20th is the deadline for spring of next year. And so if a student applies and they're selected, then they're required to 2 classes before going. They can choose one of them's what 3-credit course. They can choose one of our 4 courses in the entrepreneurship minor. Generally, it's new venture creation is what they select to do, especially the route that most non-business students take. So the first of 4 courses in our entrepreneurship minor, and then there's a small business consulting course. It's held once a week. It's 2 credits, and that kind of just which is kind of an introduction to seed, and then small business consulting, and then getting to know exactly what their work looks like and the culture and those kind of things.
So application right now for the spring of next year in April, what are the applications, the other application deadlines?
Yeah, so for placement of summer and fall of next year, 2026, that's in November. Yeah, great question. Good. Great question. Yeah, so in order to get internship credit for the experience, students have to talk to their advisor to see how they can adopt that into what they're studying. So just by going out, and some students will complete like online classes, but the internship will not count as credit unless they figure out a way to make it count with their advisor for what they're studying. Yeah.
I got 3 credits for mine.
All right, so next up, let's see. Well, just one reminder also, if any students are looking for credit that maybe their department doesn't go, there is a USU 2250 and 4250 course that would count as far as like giving them academic credit for that as well. All right, so next we're going to have Lisa over here with Institute of Government and Politics.
Okay, again, I'm Lisa Anderson with the Institute of Government and Politics. I've been with this department on campus for a little over 2 years, and our mission is to connect students with government and political internships in an area of their interest. I'm here to help them through the application process, meet with them, help them learn how to do interviews, put their materials together. We send students every semester. There are a variety of opportunities open to them every semester. It's open to all majors. So any major, you don't even have to have an interest in political science or government necessarily. They're just great experiences overall, mostly, office environment work. Also in DC, they give tours of the Capitol, which is really fun, and work with constituents who contact the office. We have a GPA minimum of 3.0, would be only one of our requirements. We send students, we work with organizations through all locations. So from Cache Valley and Logan to throughout Utah to Washington, DC, and the Senate and congressional offices out there, as well as anything in between. Every spring, we send students to the state legislature here in Salt Lake, in Salt Lake City. And that internship pays $4,000 for the whole experience. It's basically a 45-day session plus a week and a half of training before that. So they're done around the end of the first week of March, and just an incredible experience no matter who they are. So that's only held spring semester during the session. What else? We do offer credit for the internships. They can get either a poli-sci credit in the 5,000 level series, or we have a IOGP prefix. If they don't want to use poli-sci, we also have the IOGP prefix on those classes. We have 10 $500 travel scholarships we can give away throughout the year. So we have to divvy those up among the semesters. Those are sponsored by Arena Communications that was started by Peter Valcarce, if any of you are familiar with him. So we appreciate those. Also, USU just purchased housing in Washington, DC. USU subsidizes the housing, so it's still about $3,000 per semester, but that's approximately 4 months, so a little less than $1,000 a month. And they just purchased this property. Before that, we were renting apartments, and we purchased this property in January a year ago, 24. It was completely gutted and remodeled. It's beautiful. It's top of the line stuff. So there are 4 apartments in one building, and each apartment has 3 bedrooms with a private bath. Washer and dryer for laundry are included in each apartment. So very nice location and amenities there. They're fully furnished, so students don't have to take a lot of things, including all of the kitchenware and bedding and things like that. So to apply, it's really helpful if they meet with me first. I can guide them through that application process, help them with their materials so they look the best to send out, also help them with interviewing skills. I also connect them with Joseph's office, the Career Design Center, so they can get help there as well. Our process is really just an online form where they fill out most of the information about themselves and then upload their documents. So we just need resume, cover letter, writing sample, 2 letters of recommendation, and their unofficial transcript. So what else? Then we take all of those applications we get in. We usually have to vet them because we get so many. And we select those, our top candidates who will be sent to the congressional offices in DC, the state legislature. The governor's office here in Utah also has some fellowships, both fall and spring. And so we can send those directly to our contacts, and they rely on us to know that we're sending them the best candidates. So other organizations have an online system of application. So students have to apply for those themselves, but we try to research those for them and send them out all of these opportunities that they can get their applications in for. Our deadlines, our priority deadlines, are primarily set by the congressional offices. These are primarily their deadlines. And but then we take applications anytime, year round. So because there are many other organizations who are not fixed on these deadlines. But basically it's January 25th for summer, February 25th for fall, and that one especially can be, a lot of places don't start that early. September 25th for spring. And I already said we accept applications anytime. I wish I would have thought to bring some of my former interns because it's amazing to hear from them, and that was such a great idea. Next time. Yeah, so all they need to do is contact me. I'm going to leave some materials over here, a postcard, a flyer, a couple of copies of photos of our housing in DC. Yeah, what else? Any questions?
I can give a plug for government politics. Before I came to USU 20 years ago, I was an intern coordinator for a US senator. We always had interns from Utah State going through this program, and they were excellent.
Good to hear. What office were you in?
I was in the office of Senator Larry Craig from Idaho.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, this is our website. It's pretty easy, just usu.edu/IOGP. That's the acronym we go by for short. And yes.
So I was going to ask, like, if there was a student that, say, in science work, what kind of experience or opportunities would they be looking for?
Yeah, so government, right, touches every area of our lives. So sometimes those offices are specifically looking for someone in a certain area, like natural resources, science, marketing. And then other offices are more specific, like the National Science Foundation or different government organizations like that who have a more of a science focus. So we'll help them find something. Yeah.
And then just, I apologize if you don't have this information off the top of your head, but
Yeah.
what proportion of the students that take part in this are political science majors compared to students from other colleges?
Yeah, okay, so I don't know an exact percentage, but since I've been here, it's probably less than 50%. Like, we get a lot of business students. It fits really well with their majors. But we get social work, I've had a computer science major. I think I had someone from engineering actually. So it's almost from every college. But yeah, you would think political science would be the majority, but I believe political science also has an intern coordinator as well. So some of them may work through their office. Right? Is that it? Okay. Thank you. Yep. Thanks for letting me come.
All right, now we're going to turn the time over to Brittany. She's going to tell us lead us kind of all in a little bit of a workshop here, connecting with alumni.
Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to find them, basically. But how many of you work with alumni or are being encouraged by, I don't know, your dean or department head to do more work with alumni to figure out kind of where your students are, where they're going? Yeah, it's a big topic of conversation, right? Especially as the money river is being dammed and diverted into different directions, right? That was a terrible metaphor. My degree's in poetry, you can't tell. But my job today is the alumni program coordinator for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. I see a lot of CHAS folks in the room too. So what happened in my college is my position was just invented, right? Didn't exist. Now it does. Before me, Andrea DeHaan was in this position about 3 years ago. So if you worked with her at all, I'm Andrea part 2. And my job is to bring alumni from all across CHAS's majors back to campus to meet with current students, right? Just kind of set the stage for some of these networking opportunities so that the CHAS students who are studying things they love and that they're passionate about can have directly translated for them by an alumni the durable skills, right? Here's what you're learning in that history class. Here's how to write it on your resume. Here's how you talk about it in an interview, right? Here's what I'm using in my actual day-to-day work life and job life. And this is how, right? Just to kind of help translate and bridge that gap for some of our students. Because again, my degree was in creative writing, right? And now I'm an alumni program coordinator. I don't know how that happened some days, but if I met with a group of creative writing students, I would creatively come up with the story of how. So, but since I'm talking to you all, I just basically want to show you some of the ways that I find alumni. So what I do now is I do an alumni speaker series. We were inspired. I know the Huntsman Business School does a really good job of setting aside Fridays for different events and alumni speakers and like different companies to come in and do recruiting things. So we put in place, again, before I came into this position, but started just a couple of years ago, is CHAS 3550, which is titled Alumni Career Development Series. And I just call it the Alumni Speaker Series, right? So I bring in alumni every Friday. It's a 1-credit course. And the purpose of making it a 1-credit course was to guarantee a student audience, right? So I have at least 25 people in the room for any given alumni I'm bringing in, right? And I feed them food, and that usually boosts my numbers a lot. So I do the alumni speaker series, I do networking night, mocktail and mingle, right? I do some of these larger, primarily college-wide events, and different departments will do different things, right? Just depending on department head and budget and those kinds of things. I know the communications and philosophy department has a student worker, Cassia Gaynor, who runs like an alumni LinkedIn page for them. I know the English department, the department head offers classes, pizza parties if they bring in an alumni speaker, right? Different things like that. But I'm sort of not above anyone, but I'm trying to hit as many bases with as many events as possible, right? With things like networking night. I want the English teaching student to have someone to sit with, as well as the social work student, right? So there's a lot of bases to hit. And sometimes finding alumni can be a game. Those of you who did raise your hands, how do you find alumni? Do you have, say that again? Millennium. Yeah, Millennium is this huge database of all of our alumni. It's limited, right? Basically, any Utah State alumni has to get in the news, and our whatever AI softwares we pay to look for information about our alumni has to pick up their name in public articles to figure out where they are now, where they live, who they're married to, what their current job titles is, right? It's what development officers put all their notes into, right? It's how they keep track of our alumni. So it's a little limited because Millennium thinks I still have my maiden name and live at home, right? My account hasn't been updated in 12 years, which is fine. But, right, that's where we get the list of people's email addresses. That's how we find alumni we want to talk to. And I will show you real quick on that note of Millennium, if you're in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, some colleges have a point person that they prefer you go through to pull lists of alumni. Okay, perfect, here it is. So for example, this is, if you fill out this report request, it goes to advancement, it goes to the, I don't think the Alumni Association, I think it just goes to advancement. And they will read it, say you want to invite all the English teaching alumni in Cache Valley to a dinner, right? But only those alumni who are working in high schools in Cache Valley. This kind of report is where you request that kind of information, right? You explain who you are, what department you are, what kind of request, right? If you're just trying to figure out how many alumni you have in the state of Utah, you can request a name list, right? Or a communications list. You can just get numbers. You explain your purpose, you explain your criteria. And the reason I say check with your development officers first is because advancement can be particular about the information they share. They don't want us to have email addresses ourselves as individuals. They want to keep those to themselves. So if you are requesting an email list, they're going to send you questions back. They're going to say why, they're going to say when, right? So you need to know exactly what you want your email to say and when you want it to send. And you give them that information and they send it out on your behalf, kind of a thing. So there's just different loopholes that your development officers are aware of. In CHAS, right, Miles Folsom, it works up in the dean's office, and he's who I give my request to, and he's the one who officially puts it in for advancement because he knows kind of the hoops that they're going to want us to jump through to get that information. But yeah, this will get you just a list. Teresa, would you have anything to add on how you use Millennium?
I think I have noticed, does it tell you their deceased or not?
Yeah.
And they will share the email information, just you have to say why you're emailing and what day you plan to do it and
pinky promise not to
very
keep
specific.
the emails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, they'll give you expiring links with this information. Yes.
Do they mind if you take that information and go create the connection list yourself? So let's say I get the name list and then I go on LinkedIn and link up with these people and then get, and then I save that on my own desktop. Is that okay? Is that frowned upon?
I don't think that's been addressed in anything.
I was
in
gonna say.
questions I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
I would use it, right? The name list.
exactly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I might do if I wasn't speaking in an official capacity at this moment in time. That's, yeah. Exactly. Which Argos, your advisors have access to.
Yeah.
But yeah, just different databases. But yeah, there are ways to pinky promise not to save their list, but make your own, right? And again, check with your development officers about what their relationship with advancement is. But so that's a really handy tool. Again, if you're just trying to figure out where, right? Like I would use it to request a list of CHAS alumni who are working in nonprofit organizations, right? Because I wanted to make sure those folks got invited to table at the nonprofit career fair, right? So that's an example of a kind of list I would request using that form. Other things that you can do by yourself is LinkedIn. I don't know, I know there's feelings about LinkedIn. I didn't have it when I got this job. Dean Joe Ward said, "Are you on LinkedIn?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Get on it." So I'm on it now. But this is a really handy trick that I didn't invent. Joe showed it to me. I don't know if he invented it, but Joe Banks is the creator of this hack. Just kidding. But if you are on LinkedIn, you go to USU's just front page. You can go down to alumni. And it'll show you, again, this is limited also, right? Millennium is limited by how public your alumni are. LinkedIn is limited by how many of your alumni are on LinkedIn. So it'll vary, probably day to day even. But Overall, there's 111,000 USU alumni who are on LinkedIn and who have said, yeah, I'm an alumni of USU. So then you can whittle them down, right? Depending on what you're looking for. If I'm looking for a philosophy alumni, right? And I want to make sure, we'll just start by philosophy. So that whittles it down, right? It'll show you where they work, where they're living, what they do, right? If you're trying specifically to find philosophy majors who are working in healthcare, right? They're not working anywhere nearby necessarily. Oh, maybe the one in Deseret Industries. But anyway, after you pick all of your kind of categories and whittle it down, you scroll down and it'll bring that list up for you. It'll show you these people, right? So then I can keep scrolling to say, okay, this person's a current student, right? They might not be in a career. Speech language pathologist, that could be cool, right? If they've got a background in philosophy. But again, just depending on like what I'm trying to find alumni for, right? If I want to invite a philosophy alumni to networking night, this is how I go about it, right? But I want to make sure too that psychotherapist, yeah, I'm over here. Oh, I can move this, can I? Yes. Okay. You want to double check things too, oftentimes, because he pulled up when I clicked on philosophy, right? Or when I typed in philosophy. That just means philosophy is somewhere in the things he's indicated or written up about himself on LinkedIn. So I want to be careful and scroll down and double check, right? I want to go down to his education. Perfect. So his background is actually social work, right? So he put philosophy somewhere on there, but he's actually a social work alumni. So you do want to double check the things that, that LinkedIn spits out at you. Also, I would recommend, right, capping the end year, just because a lot of current students will have on their profiles, right? I'm a philosophy student. And so they'll pull up, but they're not actually alumni yet, right? So I'm not actually calling on them yet. So I'll just set the end year back a few years to make sure, or to try and, not catch those fish in my net. Does that make sense? Any questions on how to use LinkedIn to, I don't want to say hunt down alumni. Yes, Colin. No. Yeah. Nope. I don't have a premium account. Joe, do you have a premium account?
But
This isn't it.
it doesn't affect this one.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly
perfect.
the same.
Yeah, this is exactly the same. So yeah, I show advisors how to do this in chess. I think they show students how to do it as well. This is,
I think one way, like you have the philosophy up there.
yes.
If you were to filter just by, if you pulled up philosophy and then filter by what they study, that
Mm.
might get out versus somebody who says, oh, my social work philosophy is this,
I
right?
was gonna say, I'm just gonna zoom this out so I can see better
Yeah, there's another arrow
what they
at the top
do.
too.
Thank you, Xander. What they studied, perfect.
Yeah, so you
Okay,
can filter out.
yeah, you can filter out further down. Perfect. Yeah, not a lot of philosophy folks under philosophy, which is interesting, but here? Yeah. 15. Okay. So these are the 15 alumni that probably majored in philosophy. I'm still going to double check. Master's degree. Yep, bachelor's degree, French and philosophy. Awesome. Yeah, so you can keep putting in keywords. You can whittle it down based on, again, that degree, the skills they said, where they work, the fields, what they do, what they're skilled at, how you're connected, so on and so forth. Beautiful. Okay, another tool. Man, I opened up so many. But another tool, like say I found an alumni on LinkedIn that I really, really want to connect with, but not answering my LinkedIn message, right? their email address might be in Millennium, it might be an old email address, right? And so I'm really trying to find like their work email, for example. Career Shift is an external vendor company who we in the Careers Design Center has like paid for, right? So students can use this, y'all can use this, as long as you have an A number, you can use this service. When you sign in, perfect. Okay, so through Career Shift, I use this to help me find people's email addresses sometimes. Again, it's going to be their work email address that I'm likely going to find. Contacts, yep. So if I'm looking for a contact specifically, right, I can say I want to find the alumni who went to Utah State University. If I know the name of who I'm looking for, I can put it in here. And the company name, let's just look at iFit, right? It will pull up a list of all of our Utah State University alumni who are working at iFit, right? If you click on contact details, it will also sometimes, no, Zach's a bad example. Yeah, sometimes it'll link you right to their LinkedIn. They're not giving me emails.
That previous page.
Mm-hmm.
And see, ask the mail that by person. Is that it?
I think it'll take me to the same page. Here we go. All right, so John came through for me. So now I found John Kinney's email address and phone number, right? And so I can try contacting them that way. And even say I wasn't looking for John, I was looking for Zach, right? Whose email didn't pull up. Like I can use my brain to figure out, okay, iFit does emails by first initial last name at ifit.com, right? And I can give that a shot and see if that's an actual email address that can connect me to the alumni. Questions about Career Shift? Okay.
I'd say one other thing with that is that once you've got, like you can also look up positions in those companies, especially if you're trying to contact a recruiter or somebody as well. You can look up recruiter or people in the company and it'll pull up any recruiters within that organization.
Sweet. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Would it be under industry?
Well, it would be under the company. So you can pick up even either look for iFit as a company or go to their company data.
Oh, I could have just clicked on iFit, huh? See, I'm still learning. Perfect. So we'll go to iFit.
And company contacts. Do a search by, the advanced search. And job title, just which job title you want to search.
Perfect. Recruiter. Perfect. So we've got Emily, right? Is she our alumni? Maybe not, but maybe that doesn't matter, right? Depending on what you're looking for a recruiter from iFit for. And again, this is free as well, as long as you've got an A number. And by free, I mean the career does pay for us to have it. It's not free for you. Joe's over there like, yeah, so free. Speaking of which, of the Career Design Center and our career design specialists, the career design specialist for your college has a list next to them of their favorite links, right? These are really useful. This is how I find Career Shift, right? This is how I find it when I'm trying to Google it and for some reason I'm Googling it wrong, right? Maybe it's midnight, maybe I just can't remember the word career when I'm looking for Career Shift, right? I can go to Joe's page at the Career Design Center's website and find it here. There's also, like, all of your Career Design Center specialists have a list of their, not this one, it's everyone, Okay, this one's different, but yeah. So again, if you go to the Career Design Center's website, they have, it's just chock full of sources, right? Arts, I think that's just gonna lead me back to Joe. Perfect, right? Here's Jillian's favorite links, right? Ag Careers, Ag Explorer, Animal Society of Animal Science, right? Like you can find these companies that students are interested in or that they should be interested in, bump back to career search, find our alumni who are working in there, right? See if you can make that connection happen. Oh, tons and tons of resources there. Again, these next couple ones are just Career One Stop, and didn't need to do that. Career One Stop and My Next Move are really great assessment tools, again, to just kind of help students, right? Because in CHAS, a lot of students don't really know what they want to do, right? Obviously, a social worker, working student probably has an idea, right? An accounting student probably has an idea. But maybe they don't want to do it, right? Maybe you get your history teaching degree and after your student teaching, you're like, nope, no thanks, bye, right? You can point them in the direction of Career One Stop. There's assessment, there's, again, right? Ideas for new graduates. There's the other one here has, also a list of like, yeah, careers with bright outlooks, right? You can find lists of like, these are the jobs that are projected to grow, right, over the next 5 to 10 years and kind of help students whittle down what they're looking for that way, which again, kind of lies outside the alumni connection thing I was asked to talk about today, but it can be helpful, right? Especially if you're working one-on-one with a student who just really doesn't even know where to start or what they're interested in. A lot of these websites too take personality into account, right? They how to find a job now. Just tons of resources, right? There are, yeah, ways to divide it by interest area, right? And it'll walk you through like realistic, inventive, artistic, social. Do you want a conventional job? Do you want enterprising kind of work, right? Do you want to go get them? Do you want to, do new and exciting and risky things all the time? Just these sorts of things. And they're full of quizzes, they're full of resources, they're full of, again, just vocabulary to help the student kind of figure out what they're looking for, which helps us figure out what kind of alumni to look for.
All right, so for our last section, right now we're just going to go through, Brianne and I had a presentation we had to give about kind of the first year experience. And I don't know if how many people have had, as internship coordinators or especially what your timeline is as far as like trying to help students find opportunities and things. And so you probably get a lot of questions, maybe even from first year students in particular, about like, well, when should I be doing an internship or how can I prepare to get kind of the skill set so that I'll be more competitive as an internship or I can fit in your internship program and such. And so this one, we just wanted to go over some of the different ways and resources that are here on campus. We'll try to go through it fairly quickly on time as well. But it's a great way, as far as like figuring out how first year students in particular, but also even some students who may be like just trying to get back on track and stuff, and like how do I gain experience while I'm at school and things too. So how can they engage beyond just the classroom setting, and also how they can engage with like clubs, internships, and volunteering opportunities. Basically, first, we want to just reiterate why career development kind of starts now and why they should be getting these experiences and things. Experiential learning, kind of makes that bridge between like and makes those connections between the academic knowledge that they're getting in their classrooms and the career readiness, so that they're being able to apply the knowledge that they're learning in those classrooms. Through our research, especially through the National Association of Colleges Employers, they're reporting like 70% of the jobs that are out there are filled through networking of some kind of a relationship that they have with those organizations. And so if students start early in their engagement, benefits include like being able to build that professional network, being able to build kind of those transferable skills that they can use in one job to be able to make them more professional in others and able to enhance their resumes before their graduation. Right. And so this right here, USU, basically, we have the Career Design Center in partnership with faculty members and such have kind of developed a list of career learning outcomes. And these are things that we want every student to come out of after they leave Utah State University, and not only just come out of it, but be developing as they go throughout their college experience. One, be able to explore and understand self, so that they have kind of that self-knowledge regarding values and interests and such, that they can understand what career pathways are available to them, and that they can engage more in experiential learning so they can get that experience that they need, and develop that social capital, that ability to build a network with professional contacts outside of just their closed circle that they have, and of course be able to design those career plans and launch those career plans. And so if you wanted to know more, I mean, our director, Kevin Schwem, he's got a good 4-year plan of it. But with this one, we just wanted to cover what kind of activities that we suggest first-year students do. In particular, like exploring and understanding self. We have things like the USU 1400 and Focus 2, as well as like understanding what the career pathways are. And what we want to focus a lot more on this one, though, is more on different things that they can do to help engage in experiential learning, as well as kind of developing those social capitals things here. And so what kind of activities can first-year students participate in? And so this one's, kind of the different opportunities that are here available to students. If you're like, okay, what can I refer you to develop those skills? One would probably be like the clubs and organizations. A lot of students, they're coming from that high school mindset, and so they had sort of the groups and the areas that they were involved with. They can continue some of that involvement here, but there's also a lot of good professional clubs and associations here on campus that they can get involved with. But when we're talking with students, we're like, okay, when you get involved with these clubs, make sure you're not just like a member on the list, that you're using this opportunity to, one, connect with the activities there, but also, volunteer to be like some of the leadership opportunities, and get some good experience on there, so that if someone's looking at your resume, they don't only say, oh, you were, the vice president of treasury or something for this club. That means you know how to, you've had experience handling money, or participate in sort of like the events that they'll do. So maybe some of the, they're hosting an event. What does it take to show that you can go get either donors for an event, or that you can help outreach and help bring people into these organizations and such. So clubs and organizations are a really great time for first-year students to start to get involved with it. Volunteerism as well. This might be more of students who are trying to get involved in a cause that they believe in. It's great if you have work experience, but it's also good if you kind of use that experience to do something that you're passionate about. And so volunteerism is a great way that they can do that. And we try to make sure students, when they do volunteer activities, that they make sure they connect with the other people in the community in that volunteer activity. And they also let people know what their skills are, and ask, how can I do this? How can I help your organization? Maybe I can help them with your social media. Maybe I can help you to be able to gather more people and recruit more people to this cause and such. Other opportunities would be like on-campus jobs, and we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about that, as well as like experiential learning opportunities. These would be things that are not necessarily like full-time internships yet, but more of like job shadowing, or different ways that they can do projects and small short-term like micro internships and things while they're going to school here. And of course, internships, as you guys all know, are a great way to get some of that experience. And we kind of recommend students maybe at the earliest, like around their sophomore year or so, but what kind of things that they can do to prepare for that. And so one of the best ways to do that is probably those on-campus jobs here working. And I'm going to turn the time over to Brianne over here to talk more about some of the on-campus jobs and what kind of tools they can do for that.
Awesome, thank you. So I am Brianne Midgley, and I'm the Student Employment Coordinator in the Career Office. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the benefits of student employment, specifically on-campus jobs. And so I'll move forward here. So there was a research study done by NASPA, or the National Association of Student Affairs Administrators, and they completed a study on student employment and the benefits of students completing on-campus jobs. It helped improve student learning, higher grades, especially improves persistence and their career readiness. And they also learned in this study that supervisors are they're primarily responsible for the development of their student employees. Some additional benefits, financial independence. Students will be able to use that to pay for college needs or just life needs as well. Also campus engagement. Students feel connected to the campus as they're working on campus, living on campus, and going to school. And then specifically with first year students, it helps with a smoother transition into college life. They feel more adjusted to campus culture and feel a little bit more integrated. They also experience flexible hours. Usually on-campus departments are flexible. If a student has a test or something they want to study for, they're usually pretty flexible with that. And then also, again, that financial independence, as well as early networking and connections. Usually their student jobs can turn into internship opportunities or mentorship opportunities, and then even further down the line, career opportunities. I was a student employee that got to stay here, and it's worked out great. So those are just some of the benefits of working on campus. And how do students find these on-campus jobs? We utilize Handshake here. So most or all on-campus student jobs have to be posted through Handshake. And that's one of the most frequently asked questions we get in our office is, how does my child get a student job? So this is where we turn them to. We also recommend that students complete their profiles. It helps filter out jobs to align with their skill sets or their interests. So we also recommend that for our students. And then it also helps them become familiar with the system early on. So when they do start looking for internship opportunities or career opportunities, they're a little bit more familiar with how to navigate the system. So I did want to show you what it is like for a student. Okay, does everyone see student view? So this is what it looks like for students trying to find a job or internship. So we have, it's pretty simple and easy to navigate for the student. They can filter to just internship opportunities and location. If they want a specific place, they can do that here. They can also just search for on-campus jobs as well. I'll show you that. So it'll list all of these opportunities, all of our on-campus jobs. And it's pretty simple. We recommend that they, come into the Career Design Center and have their resume reviewed, and then also maybe create a cover letter, because a lot of on-campus departments recommend having a resume and cover letter, so it's easier to apply. You can select different documents here and then just submit. Very easy. And we also have departments or companies reach out to post their opportunities to students. We recommend they post through Handshake because our students are on there. And they don't have to keep or house all of their applications in Handshake. We do have an option to apply externally, so using a different source. And that's super simple too. It'll just take them right to what the company would prefer them to use. So that's a little bit about what Handshake looks like for our students. Okay. And then I did mention before that supervisors are primarily responsible for the development and growth of student employees. So in the career office, we decided to redesign our supervisor check-ins to really help the development of our students. So we decided to integrate the NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, their career readiness competencies. So those are 8 skills that employers have determined or what they look for in students as they are going to be hired. So each I think it's every 2 weeks, we meet one-on-one with our peers and have a specific competency or skill that we focus on. And in that check-in, we ask them a couple of different questions: what projects they're working on, if there's anything that their supervisor can do to help support them. And then we go over the NACE competency for those past few weeks. So we have the definition and sample behaviors, and we have a discussion with our peers on how they have utilized that skill or how they think they've developed it. It helps with articulation when in an interview they can think about different examples and experiences where they've used that certain skill. And so that's just a little way that we've utilized career readiness and development in our office. And I think that's so.
Okay, so yeah, that's just yet another one resource that students can do to develop their skills while they're here on campus. And I know maybe even some of the internships, depending on what kind of opportunity that they're doing here on campus, can qualify for an internship too. So if students are asking you questions like, okay, where can I go? On-campus employment is a great spot to look to. Other different ways that they can, this can help accelerate them would be building their resume, helping them network, helping them self-discover, discover more about themselves, and giving them some more employability as they grow. So if you're thinking about, all right, well, I know that I want to refer some students over there, where do I find these opportunities? Obviously, you want to go to the career centers themselves. We'll move this here. So if, is a great place for students to find, especially internships and jobs, as well as if they're looking for like different clubs or going to the club fairs or student organizations. The Division of Student Affairs has a great list of all the different organizations depending on what their student interests are. Campus job boards like Handshakes is a great way for students to look up some of those internships. Going over to the Center of Community Engagement, if you have students who are like, I want to volunteer, I want to give back, what's a great place that I can find a good volunteer organization where I can build my skills. And of course, networking itself, as we kind of, Brittany walked through, great ways to find alumni to network with on LinkedIn. So some things that we do like to recommend our students do kind of to help them be more successful, especially first-year students, to start small, just commit to at least 1 to 2 activities as they're going, per semester, so that they're working on these things. They don't have to try to be volunteering and mentoring and doing an on-campus job and everything all together, plus classes, right? But if they start small and commit to a few activities, that'll help them avoid burnout while still moving forward. Make sure that they track their achievements, write down or document the skills and the projects that they've done so that they can articulate them more on their resumes, and to make sure that they reflect on there. Now, obviously, a lot of us understand the importance of reflection, especially with their internship courses and stuff. Make sure that they reflect and they can connect the experiences that they're having with their career goals. Like volunteering has taught me client communication or something like that. And then, so right now, I just wanted to kind of open it up to discussion. As far as like, first-year students, I guess one, what kind of questions do you typically get from first-year students? You get first-year students asking you like, how can I help develop my skills, or any career-related questions?
I would love an opportunity where I can get in front of first-year students. A more formal setting where you get in front of these first-year students and show them, here are the opportunities, right? And maybe you do this already, but like I have never experienced that.
Yeah, no, and what I find like fairly effective, something like Brittany, your class where you're alumni. I mean, it's targeting everyone, but there's a lot of like intro classes and things where they can host somebody and bring them in, and you can talk about your programs or help getting right in front of some of those early students and things. So I think that might be one good way, is just trying to have some of those like connect with some other freshmen targeted classrooms and things. Well, anything else or any other questions? I mean, basically that's kind of the gist of this program here. If not, the main thing, I do want to say thank you guys so much for coming here. The internship coordinators here on campus, there's quite a lot, and a lot of people who are involved with internships. And so, definitely really important. It takes a lot of effort and stuff from you guys to help our students grow and to get that experience they need. I want to thank our experiential learning committee that helped us out here. So Brianne, Alexander Troutner, Brittany Sky, Nicole Barfus, Thank you guys as well for helping to organize this. Please feel free to network and talk to each other, kind of share some of your ideas. There are still more sandwiches. Take one as you go. And thank you guys so much for coming.